Hello, everyone. This is Alan Whitford from RCEURO.com, and I'm speaking today with Reena Gupta, the CEO of TargetRecruit, which is an integrated CRM and applicant tracking system built on the Force.com platform. Reena is a regular feature of our thought leader conversations. Good morning, Reena. How are you?
I'm doing great, Alan. How are you?
Doing
Thanks for
well.
having me.
Glad to have you. I'm looking forward to talking with you today.
hmm
Reena, one of the things that's been coming up a lot recently in our discussions around recruiting systems and what they deliver for customers is this whole thing about data, reporting, analysis. What does that all come to you? What does that mean for you?
Well, Alan, if you look into the any system, whether it is recruiting system or any system, the purpose of it is to collect the data. And once you have the data, you need to be able to analyze and report on it to be able to take any good actions on it. If you're just having a system and you're not able to report on it, it's absolutely of no use. You can't do any proper utilization of the data, and unless you see the data in forms of reports and analytics, you will not be able to do any take any action. So any system, as I said, like for be able to give you the reports is very, very important. Now, the second aspect of the reporting is how easy it is to do that report. Are you going to your ID team and say, hey, I need this field in the report, can you generate that? Or are you as a user able to do that on your own as and when needed? Those are the two very, very important aspects of any reporting system. And the more and more data that is being collected nowadays, with, as you know, there's a data overload is what we call it nowadays,
Yeah.
is data everywhere. But how useful that data is what everybody is trying to figure out. So going back to your question about the what does it mean to me is if I have to use a system and I'm not able to generate any report out of it, it's of no use.
Well, I think
So
it's an interesting point because I can remember when I was selling an ATS 15 years ago,
mhm.
one of our competitors bragged that they had 200 reports that they could give you. Um,
Yeah,
we had 12, and we thought that was too many.
yeah. But gone are those days when people can go and sell. I have so many reports. Now we sell. Do you need a report? You can create on your own. Do you need a report today by your data source or your resume source, whatever the information is? You can't go and say that I have these, even increase the number of reports to 1,000. But at some point, with the amount of data that is floating, you need to be able to do ad hoc reporting. Without that, if your system is not able to do it, it's very limited.
So what you're really saying is that, let's say from the old world model, I would have had someone probably in a back room with Excel pulling data from all sorts of places, creating a specified report, maybe spending 2 or 3 days a week doing this, which was a pretty big waste of time and probably generating reports that nobody read. Whereas today, with what you've done with your tool set, is be able to create a methodology that a user can very quickly create a report almost on the fly.
Yep, yep. That's what I'm saying is like creating the report on the fly. And another aspect of reporting is how you access that report. So, as I said, like there, maybe you can consider that as three different aspects of a reporting. One is collecting the data. So, your data collection should be an easy process. So,
Yep.
nowadays, everybody's on a handheld and mobile.
Hmm.
They should not wait for going to their office, sitting in front of the computer, and to be able to capture that data.
Right.
Again, gone are those days. You're on your on a beach, you had have a call with a client, you should be able to collect that data. Just an example.
Yep.
Second is how easy it is to generate the report. And then the third aspect is how easy you get access to that report. Now, all those three elements should be extremely, as I said, like easy to do, but real time.
Right.
So again, taking an example of if you're on a beach and if you have a placement that is closed or if a placement that is at risk, you should be able to get notified, not go back to your work, and be able to see that when you're in front of your computer. So, in terms of getting the data out in whether it is your handheld, whether it is your mobile, whether it is your smartphone, all those things should be available in the terms of reporting. So, what we do in our tool is we take into consideration all three aspects. So our data entry is very easy to do. You can then do the data entry wherever you are, what device you are on. You can schedule the reports in our system. You can say, I want to get a monthly or a weekly snapshot or a dashboard of all the active placements of this month, or all the placements that are getting terminated for this month, or all the open jobs that are getting terminated this month. So, and then be able to get that report on a handheld or anywhere else. It's a very, very important aspect.
Now, in the old days, if we say even a year or two ago, to get those reports, I might have had to log into the system, then I'd have to find a list of the reports, and then I'd have to pull them up. But you've gone a more dashboard approach, haven't you?
Yeah, we go to a point where we say, what, based on your job function, what are the top 10 analytics or top 3 analytics that you want to get on a regular basis? And you nail down this by each person's functionalities and responsibilities, and you can get that the moment they get into the system, or the moment they have a handheld, you can have the notifications coming to you rather than you coming and, or think of it as the information getting pushed to you rather than you going and getting that information.
Right.
So you're always in constant touch with your data and how things are moving with your company.
And do you feel that the advent of the mobile technology has helped drive companies to want this capability, whether it's a mobile or whether it's a tablet?
Yes, because now the expectations of the people is, I mean, with these access devices that are accessible, the expectations of the people is what we have to meet, right? If I am a owner of the company, and I get a certain expectation from my sales team, is like, you're supposed to close this deal, and if they come back and say, I did not see the email because, or did not get this data that is closed because I was not in front of the computer, that's not the expectation anymore, right?
Right.
No matter where you are, you should be able to close your deal and get to your work. So good or bad, the work never leaves you, but it's the reality of life. And if they miss it, our competitors will get it, right? So that's how every company has to think on it. Every company has to look into is like, what information you can utilize to run your business, and it should not benefit your competitor, right? Absolutely. So you should be, so that's where the reporting is very, very beneficial. So real-time data, whether it is dashboard approach or whether it is the actual report, it's important that they get access to the data real-time.
And when you're talking about reporting, Reena, you're not just talking about here's a listing of data. You're actually talking about a bit more comprehensive analysis, aren't you?
Yes, exactly. For us, we don't believe in just a list of report that you generate. Basically, you don't just the list of reports, a list of data doesn't make much sense unless you analyze the data, and unless you say, after analysis, what action we need to take. So going back to my example of my sales team, they come back and say, I have closed so many deals this month. That's great, but I go back and look into what we have not closed and why we have not closed, and what we could have done better so we don't repeat the same mistake. So we have a way to track all those information of why we're losing the deals and where we are losing the deals, what competitor we are losing the deals to. So we have analysis on all those things. And that really helps drive our sales process, at least to a point that we know what we need and where we need to improve. And that's very, very critical for any company's success.
And I think it's a part where a lot of recruitment businesses today have finally started to realize that it's not just about the number of calls that a recruiter is making. It's actually what's the impact of those calls, what's the impact of the site visits, what's the impact of interviews, as opposed to just the raw numbers.
Exactly. True. That's true.
Yeah. Are you seeing a difference between what the impact might be for a small, medium business type recruitment business versus some of the larger ones? Or is it, the same data, the same analysis?
It's a very, very interesting question. If you had asked me this question, say 2 years back or maybe a little earlier, I would have said, yes, the data that large companies get or analyze is different than what small companies can even afford to collect, right? It's a matter of, now there are so many systems available that it doesn't matter if it's a 1-person staffing company or a 10,000 person staffing company. They all have access to similar data, or at least they have an access to capability to have the access to the similar data. think about social media, think about other places, they all have capability to collect the similar data. The only difference is how they analyze the data and what they do with it. That's the real difference.
Right.
And small companies can be successful if they can analyze the data properly and take right action.
So in one sense, using something like TargetRecruit with those analytics is leveling a playing field for the small guy who might be in, middle of Ohio somewhere competing with one of the big guys up in Chicago.
It does, because the target recruit, of course, it scales so well with the number of users. It doesn't matter if you have one person or 10,000.
Mm-hmm.
So the performance is not a problem. The running, the reporting is not. Of course, then the volume of the data will be different. If you're analyzing any data on a volume, then it may result in a different statistics. But the data collection is very, very affordable. As I said, we are leveling big and small companies with
Right.
similar to what Salesforce has done for their customers. It doesn't matter if it is the Dell or the SunTrust and all, but it they offer the similar statistics and reporting capability to all their customers.
Right. Well, I think it's a great way of looking at that, Reena, and the fact that we're talking about analysis, value, bringing something to that data. You and I could talk about big data, small data, probably for a couple hours, so we'll ignore that one for the moment. But I think it really is the data that's important to that business owner is, hey, the bottom line for me is I got to put people into jobs. And if I've got the right tools to analyze what we've been doing, I think it's a great way to bring real value to the system.
Exactly. That's true. That's
Great,
true.
brilliant. So that sounds fantastic for me. So what else is new with you guys? What else is up? You've had you're fine tuning the product into some industry sectors like healthcare and things of that nature, bringing some different
Yeah,
elements to it.
yeah. We are actually releasing tool called credentials management, which is very common product, or a common product and terminology that is used within the healthcare industry.
Mm-hmm.
So we have some healthcare clients using it, managing. They currently, our whole product strategy is to bring different functionalities and functions in the same platform. So we had the marketing, sales, recruiting. Now we are bringing in the back end, accounting, everything along with this credentials management. So what it does is it brings, or it eliminates the another system that somebody else was running to manage who's certified where they are supposed to work, if their credentials has expired. All those things are being managed within our system. We have also added background checks. Now we are also adding interviews, video interviews, all those functionalities being added in our platform as we speak. So with the healthcare, this is such a big piece of healthcare management and with our platform's capabilities of managing the workflows, that if somebody's certificate has expired, you do an automated notification. It has eliminated a lot of manual processes that that was supposed to be in that used to be a regular practice, like somebody's doing it manually, who's expiring, where they're expiring, or all those things has been automated. So yeah, credentials management is a big piece for our product and then as I said, like we are adding with the credentials, we are going to add a automated process of verifying those credentials. So with a click of a button, you say somebody's certified to work in this state, click a button, and it goes to the verification company, verifies the data and brings it back. So we are automating that process also.
Fantastic. That's going to be a big boon, I think, for a lot of
Yes.
recruiters. That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. Well,
We are very excited about this module. Very, very
excellent. Well,
excited.
I think that could be the topic for our next conversation is what's going on with those individualized modules and certainly the integration of video. So, Reena, it's been terrific having you on with us again today. Looking forward to our next conversation.
Thanks, Alan.
Thanks. You bet.
Great talking to you.
Thanks.